Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
New guest alert. Chris Turner is going to join us in about a minute, and you're going to come. Promise. First letter we're going to read today is from Steve. Keith, Chemda, welcome back. Love learning about that shitbird Jim Caviezel. If God hits you with lightning, it's not a positive, you fucking idiot. Over 18 years, and you both still find things to talk about. It's beautiful. Goddess bless. Steve, of course, there's always shit to talk about. George Santos, you know, the chronic liar, the representative from New York. Mitt Romney said, hey, you make up all these fucking lies. You're an embarrassment. When there's a session in Congress, at least sit in the fucking back. George Santos says, Mitt Romney tells me, a Latino gay man, that I shouldn't sit in the front, that I should sit in the back. Well, guess what? Rosa Parks didn't sit in the back, and neither am I.
What?
Yeah, there's always something to talk about. Come on now. This letter from Tessa, 4-hour Q&A. Thank you. I woke up this morning to a 4-hour show, and I can't thank you enough. I listened on my commute and almost crashed my car 3 times within the first hour of the show. Okay. I read in the newspaper about a car accident. I got to be honest. I scroll. I'm like, Keith and the Girl, show me, please. Newsy, please don't die. But please don't stop doing what you do. These stories are my life. I'll be re-listening to the entire show again on a long drive this weekend with my partner. It's time to introduce them to Keith and the Girl, and I'm using this episode to do it. Wish me luck. I'll let you know how it goes. Love, Tessa. How about that?
You're starting with Q&A?
Starting with Q&A on a road trip. It starts with how many people Newsy had sex with these shows, and we guess, and he says, I always guess over. Then he counts it through, and I was actually under.
Well, can we just say it's not how many people he had sex with in general.
It's how.
Since we last recorded how many people.
Right.
And this time I guessed 7 and you guessed 10. Yeah. And he was like, I'm this closest 8. And then we went through who he slept with and he was like, oops, 10 people.
Yeah. KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP. See everything we're talking about. By the way, KeithAndTheGirl.com/dad. And every time I talk about my dad, what's that story? It's all right there. That's in your VIP package also because you get every show we've ever done. Check it out for free if you're nervous. Get it free right now. KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP. Use the code free trial, one word. Free trial, one word. All right. Today's guest. Oh, so excited. He's been on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Perhaps you've heard of Cirque du Soleil. He had a residency there. A comedian. Regular at the Comedy Cellar. Chris Turner. Hello, Chris.
Hello to you both. What a pleasure.
What a pleasure, Pip Pip. You know what? I am madly in love with Chris, not just because of his talent and his skill, and he's an improvisational rapper. He's like a Chaz Kangas level. We have him in America. We started the show.
Look at you. I'm sorry. Yeah. Everyone noticed Keith's energy. It's different today, right?
Yeah.
Like him and Chris are dating now. This is very, very strange. He's on 11.
We do a mic check right before the show. And then it hits me. It's like, oh shit, I didn't think about beats. He's gonna do those raps that I was just saying. And I didn't plan for it. And I go, hey, do you have something on your end? And he plays it and it works perfectly. It's the greatest mic check that I've ever been part of. And he goes, well, it's been 3 years in a pandemic. Who doesn't have their shit together by now? I'm gonna come.
Well, thank you so much. As a British man, this is very, very unusual for us to have such praise. Usually you turn up with everything ready and they go, well, of course, that's to be expected.
I'm used to Americans here. And it is shocking how they, I would think every comedian would have a studio in their house by now.
Look, we can't all be as organized as us three.
I'm thinking we're gonna have to click some buttons, figure something out. He goes, yeah, you mean a beat like this? And he plays some.
Well, here's one of the experiences we had. We were on mic check and the person's like, oh, can you hear me? We're like, we can hear you okay, but he goes like this. Well, I have a mic. Do you want a mic? Is this better? And I'm like, oh my God.
Do you have headphones? No. Do you? Yes.
I
They're
mean,
in the other room. Do you understand it's for you?
some people really just did not want to do virtual shows, and that's for them. But it meant for like a year and a half, I just got to stay in a lovely place in Colorado and just do gigs through my laptop without having to drive or fly hours and hours and hours. So you get it organized. And
How old were you when you came to America?
I was a tiny wee boy scattling around Ellis Island. I was mid-20s. I moved to LA when I was like 25 because I was like, I'm going to be famous. And then I now live in New York because it turns out it's a much better place to do comedy.
Right. What is it? Is this a stupid question? What is the scene in England? Why is that bad for comedy? Or not as good as America?
Well, because you don't own a dress. They seem to just...
Right.
I'm wearing a dress. Everything I
you
say
think
now is funny.
All British comedians just drag up. Yeah, that's why no British comedians can make it in Florida. I think the difference is, and I love doing comedy in the UK, but you have to just temper your expectations. And American comedians, when they go over there, like this is an example. Kevin Hart taped a special in London, and Kevin Hart's hype man comes out and he's like, "Hey everyone, when Kevin's on stage, stand up. When he comes on stage, stand up." And the whole audience just go, "Why would we do that?" Like we need to be really impressed to even react like it was moderately good. Whereas, you know, American audiences, and this is the right way to be, they want to be entertained. They want to have a good time. So they sit there like, I hope this guy's good. Whereas British people go, "Oh, I hope this person's good."
Really? Because it sounds like politeness. Like we used to do kids parties. I did kids parties for like 12, 13 years or something. And I noticed that some of the kids, and it's more like immigrant kids. I was a little immigrant kid, and they're quieter. They're more polite. They're more afraid to get in trouble. And so you're like, "Okay, who wants to see a magic show?" And they're like, "If you will allow us, we will sit here and enjoy it." And meanwhile, you know, American kids are like, "Yeah."
Just yelling shit. She, by the way, her yelling kids, they sing. So that's why you couldn't make that out. And meanwhile, his beats are going to work perfectly. I'm so excited.
I love it if the show is just discussing how good the 5 minutes before the show was from a technical
5 minutes,
standpoint.
it was 5 seconds. Chris, it was 5 seconds. Oh, pish posh tip top. Do you miss England? Do you visit often?
I go back enough because friends and family are there, and I still keep a healthy touring schedule over there. But I don't particularly miss it. No, I think where I live in New York is just the most marvelous place. I love it. So yeah, I don't really miss it at all. Sorry if the king is listening.
Sure.
Of course, everyone's listening over there. It's a royal show, they call it over there.
Do you get into that when you did live there?
I mean, I'm not a fan of the monarchy, but I did do a fundraising gig for a royal charity because it was at a fancy venue. I was like, hey, that's going to be pretty fun. And then I got an invite to Westminster Abbey, which is like our kind of, I don't even know what the equivalent is, essentially our biggest, most famous church. And the Queen was there, and I was on the front row, and she walked past me and stumbled just a little bit. And I had this like flash of like, do I jump forward and save her? Then I've touched the Queen. What happens when you touch the Queen? I don't think that's allowed. Luckily, she regained her footing. But
I think even if you save her life, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think, if you lay hands on a president, essentially you're going to get shot. I think it's the same with a monarch.
When you were on Stephen Colbert, you joked about the movie 8 Mile, or as we call it, 12.9 kilometers. Did you really get into rap because of Eminem and Dre?
I did, yeah. When I was at school, there was this guy called Galid who used to, like, this is back in the day of like Kazaa and LimeWire and all the kind of file sharing. I would ask him for any album I wanted, and I loved Nirvana and heavy guitar music. And he would always be like, this is a 74-minute CD. The Nirvana album was 43 minutes, so I filled it up with extra music that I think you'll like. Okay. And it was all The Chronic or the Marshall Mathers LP. And so I was listening. I was like, what is this? This is amazing. He's like, yeah, man, it's pretty great. And so I started rapping along to these tracks, making up my own raps, which is how I then became to freestyle. But yeah, it was Eminem, it was Dre, it was Snoop, it was Outkast.
What does you on Eminem sound like? Like, what does that sound like? You?
Oh no, I'm not, because I wasn't doing his voice or his lyrics. It was just rapping in my voice, which at the time, my testicles were yet to descend, so it was, slightly higher. Just making up little raps.
Spaghetti.
Yeah. Mummy's pasta.
Speaking of our buddy Chaz Kangas, you don't look alike, but you're both white and very unassuming. Is that when do you like giggle to yourself like, hey, audience, fucking wait?
I mean, it's when I was in LA, I used to do a lot of shows for black audiences, which were the funnest to do because the reveal is so severe.
Right.
I mean, it's also the most like kind of high pressure environment because if you suck, you will be told it. And that's like with if you're playing a black room, any comedy club with a black audience, if you suck, you will be told, which is very similar to British shows. Like, if you're upstage and you're not funny for 30 seconds, people are going to tell you. But those
How do
shows...
British people tell you?
They'll just be like, you're shit!
Oh, okay.
We're very direct when we're drunk. And all comedy shows in the UK, like, American shows don't have intervals. In the UK, you have 2 intervals minimum in a show, so people can just drink a drink and get another drink.
Oh, you have breaks in between. Okay.
Sorry, we call them intervals because we're so fancy.
You also have intervals in movies, right?
We used to, I think, but not anymore. No, that's just because, our minds were blown by moving images because we're such a backwards nation that we had to go to the bathroom every now and again.
Oh, because I loved that idea. A big pause came up on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh, I get to go to the bathroom without, like walking backwards, leaving the theater and then rushing back. But I guess it's not cost effective for time wise. But there was
anymore.
A bar.
No, I would love that. I would love it if the MCU suddenly started putting in intermissions right in the middle. And you have 20 minutes where you can go out and just take a little break.
Speaking, by the way, of Colbert, was he there that day that you were on the show?
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but no.
Is that a bummer? Is that a bummer? He's a fucking comedian.
It was
Be
a
there
shame.
for the comedians.
It was a shame. I think it was because we were just coming out of the pandemic, and so they filmed all the stand-up in one show. But I have to give mad props to the warm-up guy because everyone in that room thought they were there for a taping of The Late Show.
Right.
And so the warm-up guy comes out. He's like, hey, before we start the show, we've got 6 amazing comedians. Stephen has handpicked these comedians. And that is true. He has final say on who is on the show. But
now I get even more excited in the audience. Like, holy shit, this is a special.
Yeah.
Steven's going to present to us.
And this guy, he bigs us all up and he goes, we've got 6 comedians. They're each going to come out, do their best 6 minutes of jokes. You guys are going to see the best of the best. And so we each come out. I'm on at the end and I come out and I got a standing ovation, which was delightful. Although they cut it from the broadcast for reasons of time. Yeah, I'm sure that it was that. It was, but I have the full tape. And then they stand up and then he's like, right, you guys have been amazing. That's the end of our show. And everyone goes, wait, what? But it was great that he didn't tell them at the start because the audience would just hype. Whereas if you were like, hey, Steven's not here, they'd be like, oh, well, we're just going to leave?
Oh, man.
I'd be scared as the producer. I'd be nervous because I'm actually getting more hype. Like, you gave me a full show and then, Steven? Today's my lucky day. I'm calling in sick.
When it broadcast on the YouTube video, you see there's all these comments of people going, well, the audience look different in the shots here than they did when they were with Stephen. So what's going on? Is this all a plant? Is this a planted audience so he can do his freestyle? And it's like, no, it was just shot on a different day.
Oh, wow. People are paying attention to that.
People assume that I cheat. People assume I have people in the audience. They'll go, dude, that was great. I mean, I know you knew what the words were going to be in advance. I'm like, no. And they go, no, it's okay. It's still good. It's still good.
He has people give suggestions from the audience, to be clear. And then he goes, okay, this section, I've seen a couple of these. This section, give me a suggestion. And people are such assholes with suggestions. Copernicus in the 15th century sucking on a hoo.
But I like that. That's what I like. I'd much rather have that than when I was doing the Cirque show in Vegas. Every night it was just strippers. And you're like, guys, come on. Describe the stripper. And they'd just be like, hot. You're like, no, come on. Tell me, is she syphilitic? Is she Italian? Is she both of those things? Most likely.
Glitter. I saw you do it, and you don't only take one suggestion. You take suggestions from multiple parts of the room. And by the time you finish taking the suggestion, I so appreciate that you write it in text on the screen. I forgot the suggestions. You're making up new words with the suggestion. Also, honestly, I am so sorry to say this. Like 2 of the suggestions, I didn't even know what it meant. I had no idea. I wouldn't even know how to define it, let alone rhyme with it. It was bananas.
Did you go to college? How do you know like the currency of some off country?
So I went to Oxford University. I always have to kind of downplay that. I was very fortunate to have a very good education.
My dad said they wanted him there for ESP. Interesting. So we just have a lot in common with Oxford. That's Anyways.
I was always a real nerd. So I was like into learning. I loved it. I wanted to know everything. And so that I just kind of combined it into my rapping, because there's a bunch of people can freestyle, but there's hardly anyone doing it as well as stand-up comedy. And then there's no one who's doing it in the way that I do it, as far as I'm aware, in terms of like, no, hit me with a really niche thing and I'll still be able to rap about it.
When you go through the different sections and get ideas, I would just be impressed if you went back and repeated them, and that was it. Dog, cat, person, TV, camera. If you could just do that, I'd be like, oh, now we're saying something. It's like when I watch movies and they go, all right, we have your daughter. Meet me at the corner of 15th and 7th at 3:00. Click. I'd be like, hey, team, I think my daughter's dead. I don't fucking know what the fuck he just said.
I play along with the movie. I'm just like, all right, this is the phone call. Turn on your brain, start memorizing. All right, I want them at 2:00 between 3rd and 4th on 8th Street. And I'm like, that's too many numbers. Please just repeat it one more time. I don't know why they don't have a pen and paper when they pick up the phone at that time.
Just text it.
Right.
Can you drop a pin?
Right. You just were clear you're spying on me. Can you just put it in my calendar? You give rules to the audience and you say...
I do. Yeah, I say no food or animals because they're the most common things. People just say dog and pizza. I say nothing too obvious. Otherwise, I'd get like Prince Harry or all that stuff all the time. And I tell them to be
in the
creative.
US, because we're so fucking ignorant. This whole interview is like, tell us how you're so smart. Is it the accent?
No, don't do that. No, that's it. I should have changed my accent. I should have come on here being, like, all right, mate, yeah. No, come from England, but it's all right. I left it behind, Who cares about learning? I make my money with my hands.
But when is it because you feel like that's cheating because you know everything that rhymes with pizza and food?
Well, it's just because it would be dull for me, and I've been rapping for 20 years, and I want to rap about exciting things and new things, and there's new things every day, so there's no list to exhaust of topics. The only difficulty is when you've done topical raps, so like 3 weeks ago, everyone wanted to rap about the Titan submersible, and you're like, okay, when someone suggests that once, you've got to rap it about it if someone suggests it again. Otherwise, they're going to go, oh, he doesn't want to rap about it. Why would anyone have said that before? You're like, well, because I do 5 shows a night, every night of the week.
And a lot of things rhyme with gate, idiot. It's a favor.
So what I do is to challenge myself, I have to rap about it differently every time.
Yikes,
so,
fuck, and nobody even knows.
Yeah, so like the cocaine in the White House, that's been coming up over the last 3 days. And so I've had to rap about it 3 times. And every time I'm like, okay, how can I approach this from a new angle? I guess today, the cocaine's going to belong to insert senator.
Wow. That's crazy. Good for you. Like you put this on yourself and you don't have to, because you could cheat easily in a way that once you did it once. Right.
I would consider it cheating. And that's what keeps me excited. I have friends who freestyle and they're like, oh, I love it when someone suggests this word because I've got such a great rhyme planned for it and it gets them every time. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't seem like freestyling to me. Like, you should not have prepared rhymes. Your rhymes should appear in the moment because your brain panics and goes, oh, these syllables sound similar.
I have to assume that you've been in like street freestyles, like with people you don't know. No?
No, when I was growing up in Manchester, I went to like one freestyle session and I was like 15 and everyone there was much older. And I'm like, okay, well, let me see if I can learn from these experienced pros. And I
Mommy
go there.
and Daddy don't know that I'm here.
I mean,
Said you go on, dear.
That was my teenage life. Like I had a second life in Manchester where I used to just go in. I used to play poker in a pub, like an illegal poker game in a room above a pub full of old men and then me. And they all thought I was this maths genius, but like I just played poker online, so I knew how to do it. And then I went to this rap battle and then quickly left because they were terrible. They were so bad. Like the guy emceeing was like, okay, guys, circle up. We're going to do a little freestyle about a zoo. And at the zoo, something weird's happening with the lions. And I like remember that it was just this, like, people would do 4 lines, then pass it on. They'd be like, yo, I'm here at the zoo. Yeah, you are too. I ain't lying. I can see that lion. And then people like, oh, and then they'd move it around. I mean, this is not what freestyling is. I'm in New York now. Like, I've been to Washington Square Park, walked up to people and been like, hey, do you guys freestyle? And people freestyle perfectly adequately. But this was terrible. And so I was like, oh, I do not want to absorb by osmosis how tragic these people are. So I just
dumber.
I kept to myself, worked on it, and then when I went to university, started doing, embarrassingly, poetry slams. And I would go up after poets and then be like, hey, that was a great poem. I'm going to make you up a poem. And then I'd improvise a poem, but it would just be a rap based on some dumb title they gave me. And that's where it started.
See, poetry is the gateway.
I'm trying to talk to myself more in real life. It's fun. And it's freeing. Do you find yourself rapping like a ladle, spadle, like, oh shit, I gotta stop. That's cheating. I don't want to have prepared stuff.
I only rap on stage because I like to keep my Tinder dry, so to speak. Okay. I make up dumb songs, but that's because I have a little toddler. So every time you're playing with your kid, you're just making up little songs about them because I think, music and creativity is a really important gift to give them. Or a curse in my case, because then that became my life.
Wait till your kid thinks that every parent raps freestyle songs to them.
I can't wait. That'd be amazing. I'm just really excited for her to go to school in Brooklyn and be like, yeah, miss, my daddy's a rapper. And then I show up like, hello. And they're like, your daughter's been lying to us. She says you're a rapper.
Have you, do you ever dream rap? Eminem ever tap you on the shoulder? Anything weird happen?
Oh, no, definitely not. Because, I think I my dreams are not related to my career at all. My dreams are just always horrible because as soon as you become a parent, all your dreams are about loss and death and all the bad things that could happen to you and your family. At least for me.
How old is your kid now?
19
16.
months.
You haven't slept in 2 years.
Oh, no. I will shout out. She's an incredible sleeper. This isn't to make people jealous, but she wakes up at 9:30 a.m. every morning and she sleeps through the night.
I don't even do that. What?
Also, we use the English method of child rearing, which involves a spoonful of gin before bedtime.
All right. But yeah, here those. I can picture why you wouldn't want animals. The sheep goes bah. That's an animal. Do you ever find yourself cheating like that, like adding an or a?
I'm sure I do at some point. I try to reduce filler words because, again, I think that's a better sign of being a superior freestyler. But you can't help. It's just like a brain trip. And there's always got to be moments in the rap where you look like you're about to miss a word because otherwise if it's too perfect, people are like, eh. Whereas when there's jeopardy, people laugh the most when you mess up. If you're looking for a word, if you were just like soliloquy, I don't know what rhymes with soliloquy. Right. People go, he's human like us. It's not just Chat GPT in a flesh suit.
Right. I could do that too. You seem relatable.
Yeah.
Do you have photographic memory of some kind?
Not photographic. I have a weird memory in that I don't remember people or things that have happened. So
nothing that could help you.
Yeah, the main source of arguments with my wife is, do you remember last time we were here? We've never been here before. Chris, here's a photo of you here. Nah, that's doctored. I've never been here before. It's like, Chris, we've come here on holiday for the last 3 years. And I don't remember. It's so annoying. People will be like, yeah, we've met 5 times. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't,
Does anybody ever say, is there a theory that you only remember because it's what you care about?
It's not that, because I care about people. I'm not some sociopath who's just like, well, this person is not a rhyming word. Beep boop. No, but most things I've encountered or read are somehow like stored away in some deep memory. I mean, by the time I'm 60, I think I'm going to be so Alzheimer's-y. This really makes me think that I'm going to have no memories and I'll just be sat in a rocking chair just going, give me a suggestion. I'll rap about it.
You should name it right now, because Alzheimer's is for later, and it has like very distinct
stages. Yeah.
Yes, but this, there are people who, I can't remember names. That's a disease name. Like, name it after you. The Chris Turner disease,
Turner's syndrome.
Yeah, I can't remember that I've been here before. Not my fault. Make a pill.
I like that Henda was like, and then with Alzheimer's, it's what's the word I'm looking for? All right, you know what? Let's quit teasing. Let's start pleasing. If you can give them an example of your skill, I would appreciate if you talked about what we just talked about, including, for example, the rules of what you can't talk about.
Wait, we're freestyling about freestyling? It's the most meta stuff ever.
Thank you.
Okay, well, you're going to need to throw in some other stuff. Otherwise, they will think that we prepped this or I've done it before.
Sure. We'll talk about the rules we don't rap about: food, animals, and obvious things. Colbert wasn't there. That's kind of a bummer. Obviously, you're competing with somebody we call Chaz Kangas.
Chaz Kangas, what a name.
Do you have photographic memory? And do you talk to yourself, and what are your dreams?
Great. No photo memory and dreams. Brilliant stuff. Well, this is a freestyle. As I said, that's a rap made up on the spot, based entirely on those suggestions. Do I dream in rap? Chaz Kangas, who's that? A friend of the show. No photographic memory. Stephen Colbert wasn't there. And the rules of freestyling, which is no food, animals, or obvious suggestions, will combine all these together into a flawless freestyle.
It's amazing already.
Seriously.
Mix it all up, bring together, yes, we marry. So many different things, people shouting out. Harry, say, can you think some more? The prince that we adore, hair so flaming, he's looking ginger or orange. It's strange that he be moving to CA, California. Should've warned you, don't go away. I'm gonna follow their handle all. Anything you're shouting out in the hall, unless it's food or animals, that's just small fry. Like a minnow or a carp, that's a fish anyway. I just hark upon these. You can also say a fish is a food, combining together, yeah, we bring in the two, mix it up, I got a kangaroo too, add a US, that's what kangas do, the first name Chaz, like Parmentary from the Sopranos, yeah, I guess he's quite hairy, CK like Calvin Klein, and his mind was just like mine, yes, the little things he combine, he puts this, move back to the minnows in brine, that's the saltiest ocean that you can find, you can't fault me for reacting all salty when I thought I was on TV, SC, that be Stephen Colbert. I look at the chair and it's bare. It's barely clear that Stephen's not there. They said, please don't stand close to the desk. Otherwise, you can see that Stephen left. The band were on stage left. Stephen not stage right. Incredible. It made my night. I don't remember it though. Cause oh no, I don't use my mind working like a photo. It's not clear. Mind big and it envelops. But the photographic memory, yeah, it never developed. That's a pun with the P-U-N. Keith's like, how do you dream, my friend? Is it peaceful? You try and make the couplets and rhyme. I'm like, no, I'm worried that my family's been victims of crime. And so I wake up with the tears dripping from my ducts to the base of my ears, cause I'm sleeping on the bed horizontal, not vertical. There's the freestyle, 5 suggestions and we heard them all.
Holy shit. My brain hurts in the best way. It's pumping in the back of my head.
Yeah,
I'm insane.
The whole time I'm nervous, like I have to come up with the rhyme. Like every other sentence, I'm like, he's not gonna figure. Oh,
holy
okay.
Fuck.
And I'm like a sentence or two behind. I'm just like, what does this have to? Oh shit, he brought it back.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's very fun.
That's too much. We need would you call it a pool?
We need an intervention. What did you guys call it? What's the scariest part? Do you let your brain go? Do you catch the last word and think about that? Or like you have to make sure you don't get in your head, right? We see when comedians, regular stand-up, they fuck up because they're just thinking too much.
Yeah, you can't get in your head. The whole point is getting out of it. It's like, I'm not a spiritual person, but it's like, the body is a vessel. I just stand back and let it happen. Right. I think the most challenging parts are when there's like specific requirements, and this makes it dull. This is just when you do corporate gigs and they're like, we really want you to throw in our corporate slogan, or you need to shout out the boss, or you have to end with this phrase. And that's hard because that reduces the freedom, and the freedom is what makes it fun. And so when I people freestyle without suggestions, and the difficulty there is there's nothing to show you it's freestyling. So I kind of describe it as like, if Spider-Man's navigating Manhattan, if he's in the fire die and he wants to get up to Harlem, he doesn't know what buildings he's going to swing on. He's just going to take it as it comes. And I'm like, yeah, I just kind of flip from one to the other. It's not like I go, oh, we ended with the, photographic memory and dreaming in rap because that was the fourth and fifth suggestion you said. That's just because that's the way my brain was like, yeah, we'll tackle it this way. Another hard one is if you've got a genuinely pop-in suggestion, like something that the crowd has loved, you want to end with that. And so keeping your kind of your reserve can be challenging, because sometimes, say someone's like dreaming in rap and I'm rapping about Colbert, and then my brain goes, well, it was a dream to be on the Colbert show. My brain will be like trying to push me towards dreaming in rap. I'm like, no, hold it back, finish with that. And yeah, so having any restriction or limit on yourself is the hardest thing.
Are you good at giving cards? Are you good at writing greetings, like like a love letter to your wife or something? Are you good at that?
One of the reasons we fell in love was the letters that we wrote to each other. Yeah, my letters and cards are. I think we just had our 5th anniversary, and I take a lot of joy. Thank you. I take a lot of joy in writing and sending greetings cards and doing dumb little jokes in them.
Can I ask how old you are?
33.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife and I have been together for almost coming up on 10 years.
All right. Everything seems on the up and up on that. Good. Yeah, man, this guy, I'm telling you, aces all around, Kenda.
Well, there's while you were rapping, or right before you were rapping, I asked for suggestions. There's a little bit of a lag, but there seemed to be a consensus about rapping about the dad emails, which would mean that we would give you a synopsis, basically. And if the chat wants to join in, like, what should we include in this, and we'll sort of give you an idea of what the dad emails are. Is that cool?
Yeah,
Keith,
I mean, do you want to save that for the end?
Sure.
Save that for the end of the show as a kind of big finale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, meanwhile, I'll collect some suggestions to make sure that I don't forget things about the dad emails. If you want to put it in chat.
You made at least 2 references to Marvel. The
which is weird because is Spider-Man Marvel? Isn't he Sony?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's an Avenger, so he's Marvel.
Okay. I do not have any interest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay. The last film I went to see was Black Panther because I thought, I should probably go see that in a cinema. That feels like a cultural event. And I went with my friend who is a massive, massive cinephile. Like he lectures in cinema. And we were in this theater. We were probably 2 of the only white guys. And at the end of the film, he just was like, well, that was a load of shit. And I'm just like, Thomas, keep your voice down. He's like, no. The structure didn't make sense. The villain was the most likable character. Why would we not be rooting for him? I'm like, just wait until... This is not for you, Thomas. This is a cultural moment. Let's get out. Then,
let's get the fuck out, right?
It is the problem with Black Panther that, is it Michael B. Jordan is the villain? He's so great. You're just like, yes, kill Whitey. Kill Whitey. And then they don't want you to do that.
I started watching this TV show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And normally I don't watch superhero. I don't watch TV shows mostly. They drag on too much. And superhero TV shows are always cheap, it seems. But they moved this to the Disney Channel as if to say this goes with the movies, and that got me to watch it. It's pretty fucking great.
Yeah? Is that the one which has Sam Jackson in?
Yes, he's Fury. He's in charge, and he pops in sometimes.
And he's in the new one that's just come out, which is actually meant to be quite fun because it's got Olivia Colman in. They're all getting signed up. That one's
boring the shit out of me, but I'm watching it. But by the way, you bring up Oxford. This S.H.I.E.L.D., you follow 5 people, 2 rocket scientists, 2 fighting geniuses, and 1 guy that can just figure you out. Like, you twitch your eyes, he's going to know where you're holding the bodies, they gave one of the rocket scientists 2 PhDs. I thought that was funny because my dad says he has 4 PhDs. Marvel has Thor and the Hulk, and they went, let's not be ridiculous. She only has 2 PhDs. But it moves fast. You know, it's one of those shows where it's like, okay, we have to take the subterfuge and turn that into, it's like English. Keith's watching, and then they're like, well, we're going to reverse the. Okay, just get it done, and then they go to the next scene. I'm like, all right, they're not fucking around. They're moving quick.
It's so funny when they do that in TV shows where it's clearly for you, but you're like, I guess I needed this. Like they start a show with, tell me again why we're here, and it's like, really? Okay, but I do need to know why you're there.
By the way, as we're talking, do you think in the back of your head, what do I have to remember? Because he will ask me to rap about this.
No.
Okay.
God, that would be hard. No, because you have to be in the moment. Right. Like, I do a format where I'll just start chatting to the crowd, and I'll just be having like crowd work, right? You see crowd work clips on Instagram. I'm just chatting to audience members, and for them, they're like, "Oh, this is just some good chat, and this is fun jokes coming out." And then I'll drop a beat and do a freestyle, and they won't even know it's coming. It's not like I'm like, hey, I'm going to freestyle about this conversation. Just a beat starts playing, and they go, wait, what's this? And then I'm talking about how we just met Stephen, and he wanted to be an astronaut when he grew up, but now he's a teacher. That format, I have to remember stuff, but I don't have to. I'm not thinking of jokes.
Oh my God! Anytime you want to drop a beat, just go for it. And if you're like, I got enough, guys, thanks. One second.
I'll take it from here. Then just 20 minutes of freestyle rap until the end. No, because I would hate that. And people always ask me, they're like, like, do you watch a lot of freestyling? I'm like, God, no. No. I have to do it 5 times a night. That is more than enough. I don't want to watch, like, people always ask, what comedy do you watch? I'm like, our job is literally watching comedy. We watch the comedian on before us. I'm like, I see an hour and a half of comedy every day.
There's not time to watch collect regular information in order to make comedy and raps.
Yeah, you have to live your life. It's why when comedians get really famous, a lot of their material becomes about airline travel and other shows they did. Because that's all their life becomes. And it's like, when you're new, the material you're doing is about strange things. But I saw a comedian, his whole show was based on interactions he'd had with people since he was famous. It's like, I was at this party with blah, blah, blah. Oh, and then I met this person. I'm like, we get it. It's cool. But do you not also live your life?
And I wasn't there.
Yes, we were not there.
You know what? I also like, I like that the show seems, so far, I'm halfway through season 2, self-aware. Like they bring up what S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for. And it's like, now, what does that mean to you? And the guy goes, sounds like you're really trying to make an acronym out of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm like, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Somebody says, you're obviously having a midlife crisis. Is it a coincidence everybody on your team is beautiful? And I'm like, good. Just acknowledge it. You have to be beautiful to be on TV. Gianmarco Ceresi tweeted out about that movie Oppenheimer coming out about the atom bomb. And there's a picture of all the cast members and they're all gorgeous. It's so silly how every actor is good looking. Like there's no way everyone involved with the invention of nuclear weapons was fuckable. That's so true. So that the show at least acknowledged it. I dug
That's
that.
Lovely. Gianmarco's amazing. We were just this Sunday he was with me in Chicago because I was doing Zanies in Chicago, and my flight was running so late that I was in the air when the show started. And so it was like a mad text around me like, who's in town and can just do time until I land? And luckily Gianmarco was in town, so he was like, yeah, no, I'll just go on and just keep him laughing. And I get there and they're all like, wow, I mean, I don't even think we need you on after Gianmarco just destroyed. I'm like, all right, guys, this is still my show.
Perhaps I can get you to do a rap on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
A show that I've never seen.
That's correct. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They work with the Avengers. On TV, they don't have the money to afford the Avengers. They do give themselves a little wink and a nod when things are a little silly. They definitely spell out. They quickly go, trust me, this works. We reverse the polarities. And then they get shit done. Everybody's hot as fuck. They are not keeping an eye on Hydra for them being S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra all of a sudden took over. They go, oh, Hydra just took over the world. Oh, okay. Well, that's a new episode. And all the agents are horny.
Oh, they're
Ready when
all
you are.
horny. Okay, cool. Well, this... Tell you what, the thing is, I'd queued up a beat that was really fast. I was like, okay, yeah, cool, because whatever. And I don't even know anything about this show. And we're going to make it harder by making the beat far too fast. But let's do this. You saw me rap before, but horny now on TV like holy cow. I wanna screw you in the MCU. S.H.I.E.L.D. to get the acronym. Let me back explain. We gotta say the plan and I say the name. It's like you're trying to make it, but you thought I forgot. Oh, everybody here, they be so fucking hot. Like 10 out of 10, that's a dime. Wanna have sex on the government time. Nick Fury, get furious. Samuel L. Jackson causing a fuss. He be like, what you doing? Don't just lie there taking that D. Gotta fight with the Hydra. Like a many-headed beast, it took over, expanding its reach. But don't worry, when they have a little bit of fun, they can still team up, they can get shit done. When they quickly explain it, I know you don't care. Got the sexual hair and I'm so self-aware. Keith watching the series. Moves on fast, don't fear these. There we go, that's a wrap and we do it real quick. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, they loving that dick.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, my God. That's
Silly.
fantastic.
Very silly. I'm sorry that I was like, my brain was like, is there going to be a bit where I can do a little backronym of it and explain what S.H.I.E.L.D stands for? But nah, there wasn't the mental bandwidth for it.
That was fantastic. Oh my God. Oh,
Amazing.
I need water.
I know.
How are you
right?
just sitting there calm? Oh my God.
Yeah.
We
I
need
thought
to
I've
recover.
made my acronym now, which is she has incredible eroticism, comma, loves dick.
There are commas in S.H.I.E.L.D. It was so good. Holy fuck. Here, I'm going to continue with some news stories here. Very fun news, if you ask me. Larry Nassar. Oh, not this part. Larry Nassar worked for the Olympic girls team. Molested easily over 150 women. They all came out at this trial, thank God. He got put in prison 60 years for child pornography, 175 years for sexually assaulting over 150 women, 175 years. He got stabbed in
150 women or girls?
100 women and girls. So 17, 18, 16. Nassar was stabbed 10 times in jail, in prison.
Wait, 10 different times or
No, one time, twice in the neck, twice in the back, 6 times in the chest.
I was about to give you the precise number of times and locations he was stabbed because that's how my memory works. I read that news story yesterday and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, good. I love it. And they
6 in the
saved them,
chest.
and I love that too. Keep
They
sending them
saved
back,
him?
keep stabbing, save
Yeah,
them.
exactly. That's
Love
it.
it.
You don't want to kill him. You want to make sure he serves the life sentence, and every time he's out of hospital, he gets brutally tortured. Yeah.
how many people stabbed him?
It sounds like some of that Breaking Bad. You know the Breaking Bad episode where it's called like Flying Over All, and it's just got this incredible sequence where everyone in jail gets shivved. Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, in different jails because they got it all together.
Yeah, it's all the people who are going to testify.
Holy
That's a brilliant
shit.
sequence.
In the neck and they still saved him?
Twice in the neck, twice in the back, 6 times in the chest. A guard saved them.
It does sound like the person doing the stabbing was unaware of human anatomy. Like Larry Nassar being a doctor, if he only needs to stab you once to kill you.
Right.
He knows where to aim.
Yeah, I'm stabbing him. I'm missing the organs. He's like, you fucking idiot. I'm like, oh, you're getting me angry. The angrier you are, the more you're going to miss. Son of a bitch. Yeah,
It
that's
sounds
good
like
news.
it's people who are new to stabbing. Wow, to even get the knife through someone's neck and then
I mean,
They're
you think
not dead.
In jail you could find some people who are good at stabbing.
yeah. Well, maybe these guys are practicing, you know.
Right. It's all you got. If you focus on one thing, you ever see a skateboarder in the Olympics? And like, if that's all I did, then sure. So, these guys are good at stabbing.
Well, it might have been 10 people being jumped in or some kind of shit like that, like, all right, all 10 of you could be in.
Right.
You got to stab someone. And they're like, let's just pick this one guy.
Many of the women said that when they spoke up about the treatment, they were ignored. The treatment, meaning they would come for a knee. He has to put fingers inside you as a treatment. Many of the women said that they spoke up about the treatment. They were ignored or their concerns brushed aside by organizations in power, mainly the USA Gymnastics, Michigan State University, where Nassar worked. In 2021, victims of Nassar reached a $380 million settlement with USA Gymnastics. Good.
But how
Jesus
do you
Christ.
like what kind of conversation is that you can ignore it? You know, there's a lot of like really, I guess we're calling them gray areas where it's like, he put his hand on the shoulder, clearly you weren't all this stuff. But here they're coming in, my knee treatment needed to have an insertion in my vagina. Like, did I just say those words and you managed to ignore them? How do you even ignore that?
You ignore one. Next thing you know, there's 3. Once you get to like 82, you got something going on. Once you get to 104, there's probably something happening.
Is it that hard to hire a new coach?
He's not even the coach. He's the doctor. He's not even the fucking coach.
Yeah.
He's worse. A Tennessee soccer coach was arrested after he left his cell phone behind at a restaurant, and workers discovered videos of young boys being drugged and sexually assaulted. Camilo Campos, 63, recorded himself raping unconscious boys between 9 and 12 years old. And then he goes, "Are you going through my stuff? Why are you looking at my phone?"
But could it not be permissible because of that? Like in court or something? Who the
fuck knows, right?
I don't think that's how it works. I don't think, you find a murderer's hideout and like, you didn't have a warrant to get in here. I can go back to chopping up people.
I guess. See, but I don't know. You could take information back somehow. People are like, didn't see it.
What news website do you get these news stories that are just about
rapemurder.com?
Yeah. God.
Could you do me a favor?
Yeah. What's the favor?
Could you do a rap on...
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
On Larry Nassar. He's in jail longer than he's going to stay alive. And they ended up stabbing him 10 times. And the soccer coach. And I also have a question. When somebody's eager to work with children, is that a red flag? Thank you.
Yeah, gosh. Well, this is...
I'm going to need that in rap form, please. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Well, this beat, quite fittingly, is called Cops by a producer called Raz Hop. I do enjoy this beat. I haven't rapped over about a year. I'm just picking out some old favorites, and we're going to do a rap about Larry Nassar and the soccer coach, whose name was like Camilo or something.
Let me see. Camila Cabello? That doesn't sound right.
Not Camila Cabello, that's a singer, and this a horrid fellow. He a top-class minger, boasting he be coaching down in Tennessee. Looking at the little boys like, oh gee, Wiz, a pedophile, but he did it with a smile. In a restaurant, took a while in the restroom, left his phone there on the table. He's 63, sadly now no longer able to go outside. Clink in the cell, Larry Nassar there, 150 years as well. It's more than he will ever survive till he dies. Stab, 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 Larry Nassar, surprise, yeah. The doctor calling, need an appointment. People grab a shiv, yeah, then they start pointing, trying to heal it up, applying some ointment, but sadly it doesn't work. All his joints is twice in the neck, twice in the back, 6 in the chest, thwack, thwack, thwack. Stab until the blood coming out, they didn't kill him. It should have been a red flag. Working with children, he was coming in all creepy, like, oh, you sprained your ankle, you should see me. And then he inserts his fingers, he's lingering round. The settlement almost brought it down. The gymnastics, they stabbed shit. And again, in emergency care, Larry Nassar depends on doctors like him, and they be saving his life. I hope they were kind of ironic, because they advised, they're like, Larry, I know we need to stem the bleeding, but actually we need to put fingers deep in your butthole and violate no mistake on. Keith gets that from murderrape.com.
Holy hell. Oh my god. My face gets redder as he's fucking... Holy shit.
I can't believe you made me rap about that.
This is my birthday.
This is so funny, Keith, that you just said it's your birthday. Because every time Chris raps, when he finishes, somebody goes, it's Keith's birthday.
That's great. This is like, do you know when, I mean, if no one has seen the Kenny G documentary, which is on HBO now, HBO Max, or now just called Max, right. It's a documentary about Kenny G, the saxophonist, right? Okay. And it's genuinely incredible.
I'm sorry, say that again. What's his job?
The saxophonist.
Okay, thank you.
Why? What would you want me
I
to
don't
say?
know. A saxophonist, I guess. It just sounded funny to me.
Yeah. Oh, this is like the advertisement.
Like lift and elevator,
Yeah, yeah. He dedicates himself to his music, whether you like his music or not. But I didn't realize this. Kanye hired him on Valentine's Day. So when Kanye was with Kim Kardashian walks into this room and it's full of roses, and Kenny G is just playing in the middle of that room. And Kanye hired him for the day to serenade his wife. I'm like, I want someone to hire me just to be around the house. Just they go, do a rap. So, Keith, reach out. We'll make it work. Your people talk to my people. Right. I'll just be there. And you can just, you spill some bolognese sauce on the floor. You're like, shit. Chris, rap about it. I'm like, you want to clean it up? No, rap about it.
Oh my God, that's a great idea.
And I'd be like, I don't rap about food, Keith. Sorry.
I'm eating again. Not now. They can afford you. They have llamas and shit. And they're like, rhyme about the llama. I don't. I don't. When you hired me. I don't. Speaking of musicians, I see it happens to seem a lot of people are throwing shit at performers on stage.
Yeah.
Harry Styles just got hit in the eye with something. A bunch of musicians I happen to be seeing, like real hard physical shit being thrown at them. What's the worst that you've had it as a performer? You're not attacking the audience. Yeah. You're not necessarily saying things that are going to get people riled up, except for that sick rap you just did. Jesus Christ. But other than that,
I don't want to invite people to start throwing things at my gigs, but I mean, I've never had anything thrown at me on stage. I will give you a story of the weirdest object. But I've growing up in Manchester doing shows, I've done shows where people have had beer glasses thrown at them with beer in, which is they must hate you to waste a beer.
That's $12.
But I often do a format where I walk around the room rapping about whatever someone puts in my hand. And I've had some strange things. People will pull out a knife or a gun. And
that's how COVID started.
And I was actually in Australia in January when COVID, in 2020, and COVID was this little thing. And we made a little joke about it. We made a little joke about I'm going in the audience, touching you all. Isn't this fun? And 2 months later, no. But I had this guy hand me an ear. It looked like a really real ear. It was made of silicone or latex, and I'm rapping about this ear. And in the rap, I start doing the Michael Madsen Reservoir Dogs thing of talking into the ear, when he's torturing the guy.
Cuts the ear off and talks into it.
And afterwards, I give it back to this guy, and everyone's laughing. And then I finish the gig. I leave. It was like a corporate gig. A couple of years later, someone comes to me going, "Hey, do you remember that gig where we gave you an ear? You never stuck around to find out what the story was. There's a guy in our office who we knew was missing an ear. We knew his ear was fake. And so we just pulled it off his head and gave it to you. He left the room in tears. He quit the company because he just couldn't handle it anymore. It was so funny." I'm like, you are the worst people imaginable. What? Would you rip off an amputee's arm and be like, rap about this? And I have rapped about an amputee's fake leg before, but he gave it me. He held it up and was like, rap about my leg. I was like, I started out by going, I'm going to go out on a limb. Hey, I hope we got off on the right foot. I literally did those jokes in rhyme. I was very pleased with myself. But yeah, that's no one's thrown an ear, but that's the strangest thing I've had.
Wow.
Not even just to give it to you, then to be upset, fuck, he didn't ask us for the story.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
We stole it from somebody. We were hoping you'd ask.
You took the man's ear away.
Yeah. We'll get to the final dad emails rap in a second, but let me tell you guys some dates. He's going to be in London. Sold out the 19th. I can just shout out where I'm going to be because you got to put the sellouts on. Well, I mean, in America, in September I'm in Atlanta, Dallas, and Raleigh. In October I'm in Portland and LA, and in December I'm in Austin and Denver. But I'm adding new dates all the time, and you can find them at BritishComedian.com. And I don't want to brag, but we're worldwide. Let me mention Netherlands on the 20th of this month.
Rotterdam, baby, yeah. And then
Edinburgh,
I'll be at the Edinburgh
all of
Festival.
August.
All of August, the Edinburgh Festival with my show Vegas Baby, which is
you do cameos.
I do, yeah. If you go to christurnercomedy.com/cameo, you can ask me to do freestyle raps. I will do birthday, anniversaries, or the most common is just me roasting people. It's just like, hey, roast my friend. Here's some facts, and then I'll.
And obviously, no cheating. Like, do you do it really right then, or do you write down some shit?
No, I do it right then.
Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that.
And you were saying you have a show called Vegas Baby?
Yeah, my tour show at the moment is called Vegas Baby, which is about the time I moved to Vegas and had my newborn baby with me. So that's about what happened when I performed with Cirque du Soleil.
All right.
Sounds so good.
Oh, man.
Yeah, lots of rapping, lots of jokes. And so, yeah, BritishComedian.com and Instagram, Chris Turner Comedy. That has all those details. And also, I'm always in New York. If anyone's in New York and wants to see me, you can just DM me and say, hey,
I do every fucking day. I will wake you up every morning. I do. Oh, my goodness. It is my birthday, and I feel a year older. Kemda, do me a favor and describe the dad emails to our new friend, Chris Turner.
Okay. Keith's birthday is April 15th. His dad, a few years ago, contacted him either on that date or around that date. And actually, no, his dad contacted his ex-wife. Now, they had been divorced for a couple of years at that point.
Yes.
No one's in touch with the in-laws. This is very...
They don't talk. They don't have any kind of communication like that.
They never did. It wasn't, and he said, hey, whatever happened between you and Keith? She says, what? And didn't respond to it. Instead, forwards it to Keith.
We still talk.
Keith goes, hey, it's my birthday. Can I pretend to be you with my dad? She goes, you know what? Anything to get you out of my life, please. The Malleys, they're too much. He starts emailing his dad with her. He goes, hey, you contacted me at work. Here's a new email. And he puts her name in there, 86@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And now back and forth with the father. Father thinks he's talking to the ex, but he's actually talking to Keith. It lasted an entire year. Now I'm going to read some highlights that our audience wrote a little bit ago, because here's some of the stuff they said to remind you about jingling libidos.
He told me, but he thinks he's telling my ex-wife, you make my libido jingle.
You made this old man libidos jingle.
This old man's libido jingle, yes.
They said to remind you about the number 86, which was in the email. And his father suggested to the ex, like, hey, you're being overly sexual. Look at your email and what's in there. And she goes, what is that? 86. You know what 86 means. We haven't been able to figure it out. But
he knows it's sexual. Also, he was a priest.
Oh, yeah.
So he knows about all these little immoral ins and outs, as if there's any confusion.
He also, at some point, Keith, pretending to be her, said, hey, can you keep secrets? And he goes, I can keep secrets very well. And that was a really creepy moment for us.
No.
Yep. A lot of people
Keith, have you explained why you did this? Because the answer for the Bants is correct for the first month or so. And after that, it's
as it went, I'm like, I'll admit it. Dad, stop it. What are you doing? And then he would send an email, thinking it's my ex. He would send an email that pushes it. And I'm like, all right, then this will keep going for another month. I always expected it to end. And then I'm like, well, now it's a year. I got to fuck it. And he knows that I know, but he will not admit it. He goes, well, there's other letters to her that you don't know about our communication. I'm like, Dad, I literally have it all in black and white. It's going to be a book now. There's things you don't know. Okay. Weird. So we can't talk. We're definitely, we don't talk, period.
Okay.
And there's a couple more things. One, my wife is a fine woman. So after fake cat hit on the father and he said, you sure make this old man's libido jingle. He's like, but and you're wonderful and you're an extraordinary woman and you've accomplished so much. My wife is a fine woman, and
that's him trying to grasp. Like, no, I do have a wife still, and she's fine. You make me come in my pants, but I have a fine wife.
And one more, a very regular response from Keith's dad to all the siblings growing up was, your feeble mind can't even begin to comprehend. And it's always in that cadence.
Yes.
Am I getting that right, Keith?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay.
And then we find out that's actually from a movie I found out.
Yeah, I know that.
Is it? What is it?
I don't know what it's from, but I'm aware of it.
He has no original thought. Nothing is that I had to dig holes. I had to dig holes as a kid. As
for punishment for
Yeah.
things he didn't do. The father just wanted him out of the house and
Right.
was weird.
That's I guarantee he got that from somewhere. I don't know if it's the kid's book Holes or from some movie, but everything he got from somewhere.
And now
Nothing
they
to
keep
the
it keeps coming in, but I'm gonna, we have to stop it at some point. He claims to be a prince. He had a basement church. He's
4
a psychic,
doctorates.
he's a psychic magician. He used to put minced garlic on his thumb and put it in the mouths of his children once a year.
Religious stuff.
Yeah, and starting to repeat, but I think that's plenty.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel this is a freestyle rap combined with free therapy for Keith here.
Thank you. That's what I was getting at.
Okay, well, I'm picking out a kind of chill storytelling beat so we can really dig into this. And I hope this is a delightful further birthday present. This is what we're gonna do. Jesus Christ. Okay. Usually I drop the beat, people like so bad he fails. Don't worry, coming through with the daddy emails upon his birthday. April 15, that be 415, yeah. This teen had a few more years. Better believe he got the trick up his sleeve, doing the fake emo Keith. He's like, I blew the candles, got that wish. I hope my dad can get properly catfish. Contacting my ex-wife, divorced a few years ago, but the next stride, I take it in that, can I pretend to be you? I know my dad hit you up like out of the blue. It's like, sure, anything to be less pally with the person that I used to marry, that be Keith Malley. And so he changes, can't resist the email, her name 86, and now the catfish starting do with no fear. It's kind of weird right here, yeah, it lasted a year. Dad's like, I respect you all, but let me say, you're being overly sexual. What do you mean? I don't understand this time. Look at this, 86, not 69, but still, he gets his numbers confused. You need to add 17, then I'm bringing the bruise, cause the underground there in his church, best believe he's a priest, not a prince, even though he likes to see. Put a bit of garlic minced on his thumb, he put it there in the mouth of his daughters and sons. You gotta lick this, chop it, nice. 4 doctorates in his office, wise, so clever. Put it on the wall, more stuff we're going. Psychic and magical, like he can pull rabbits out the hat and then read the mind like Professor Xavier again and again. And Keith's like, please can you tell? Oh, I can keep secrets very well. Ugh. That makes me feel so gross. My wife's a fine woman, yes, I already know. You make me jizz in my pants. Well, he didn't say that. I might correct it, I might take back. I love this. I feel that we're all friends. He's like, your feeble mind can't even begin to comprehend. That's not an original thought. That was just dangling there. Yeah, it's something he caught from a movie. I'm so glad we could rhyme about this very, very, very strange time. The facts in the chat appreciate your bringle, and know you make this old man's libido jingle.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. Holy fuck. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This is... Oh, my God. That was... What?
I feel dirty.
Oh, my God. You're like, can we rap about rape instead? Jesus. Your dad's disgusting. Holy hell. Thank you so much.
Shit. What?
Oh, my God.
Oh
my God. Check out Chris Turner. Like he told you, the website is christurnercomedy.com. You can see a bunch of videos there. Instagram and Facebook, Chris Turner Comedy. Twitter, while he's there, Chris P.J. Turner. PJ's your middle initials?
Yes, it is. Yes, I'm not telling you for security reasons.
Right, pajamas. Yeah, check him out. He's fucking great. Chris, thank you so much for your time. It was very nice meeting you.
Thank you so much to both of you. This has been a delight.